Gather round, sports fans, for a tale not of supreme athletic prowess, but of supreme, unadulterated chaos. We're heading back to August 30th, 1904, in St. Louis, Missouri, for the Olympic Marathon. An event so disastrous, so utterly bizarre, it was nearly struck from the games forever. Forget graceful strides and photo finishes. Picture this: scorching 90-degree heat, dusty, unpaved roads, and only one water station. The race organizer, James Sullivan, wanted to test the effects of purposeful dehydration. A bold scientific experiment, perhaps, but a terrible, terrible idea for a marathon. The first man to cross the finish line was American Fred Lors. The crowd went wild. Alice Roosevelt, the president's daughter, was about to place the winner's wreath on his head, but then an objection. It turned out Lords had cramped up at mile 9 and hitched a ride in a car for the next 11 miles. When the car broke down, he simply jogged the rest of the way. His defense? He was just playing a practical joke. The officials were not amused. With the joker disqualified, the true winner was another American, Thomas Hicks. But winner is a loose term here. Hicks was in agony for the last 10 miles. His trainers, in a stroke of what can only be described as mad genius, refused him water. Instead, they fed him a cocktail of strychnine, a common rat poison used as a stimulant in small doses, raw egg whites, and brandy. This was the first recorded use of performance-enhancing drugs in the modern Olympics. By the end, Hicks was hallucinating and had to be practically carried across the finish line by his trainers. He won, but at a cost, losing 8 pounds during the race and never competing again. And the rest of the field? A Cuban postman, Felix Carvajal, took a nap mid-race after eating spoiled apples he'd found in an orchard. 2 South African runners, Len Taunjane and John Mashiane, the first black Africans to compete in the Olympics, had their own troubles. Taunjane was chased a mile off course by a pack of wild dogs. Of the 32 starters, only 14 finished. Lesson: the 1904 St. Louis Marathon is a farcical yet cautionary tale about the dangers of prioritizing spectacle and misguided science over athlete well-being. It reminds us that the pursuit of glory without wisdom and ethical guardrails can quickly devolve from a test of human endurance into a dangerous absurdity.
Hold on to your hats and your steering wheels. Today we're traveling back to 1903, a time when cinema was a baby and the motor car was a noisy, terrifying teenager. In London, a filmmaker named Alf Collins, working for the British branch of the French company Gaumont, decided to combine these two newfangled technologies and accidentally invent the DNA of every action movie you've ever seen. The film was The Runaway Match, or Marriage by Motor, and it was, in essence, the very first cinematic car chase. The plot is simple. A young couple elopes in a motor car, the bride's grumpy father gives chase, hilarity and high-speed mayhem ensue. But in 1903, this wasn't just a story, it was a spectacle. The automobile was still a curiosity, a symbol of thrilling, slightly dangerous modernity. Most roads were unpaved, and the idea of a horseless carriage was still novel. To put this fast-paced action on screen, Alf Collins used a revolutionary editing technique: cross-cutting. He would show a shot of the couple speeding away, then cut to a shot of the father in hot pursuit. This back and forth created a sense of simultaneous action and frantic urgency that audiences had never experienced before. While American filmmaker Edwin S. Porter was using similar techniques in The Great Train Robbery the very same year, Collins' film focused squarely on the thrill of the chase itself, using the car not just as a prop, but as the engine of the narrative.
This was a crucial leap forward. Before films like this, cinema was often static, like watching a play. Collins put the camera and the audience right in the middle of the action. even mounting the camera on a moving vehicle for some shots. The result was a box office smash that helped establish the chase film as one of cinema's most popular and enduring genres. Sir Chuckleton says, "Lesson, the runaway match of 1903 demonstrates that storytelling often advances hand in hand with technology. By taking the newest, most exciting machine of his era, the automobile, and pairing it with a groundbreaking editing technique, Alf Collins created a universal language of cinematic suspense, proving that the thrill of the chase is a story that never gets old."
Hello, cinephiles! Today, let's journey back to 1905. The movies were a flickering, chaotic toddler just learning to walk. And who taught them how to tell a proper story? Not a famous actor, not a visionary director, but a dog. Meet Blair, a humble family collie who in the quiet English town of Walton-on-Thames became the world's very first canine movie star. The film was Rescued by Rover, a 7-minute epic that would change filmmaking forever. The production was a true family affair, directed by Cecil Hepworth and starring his wife as the mother, their baby daughter as the baby, and their dog Blair as the hero, Rover. The plot is simple but effective. A baby is stolen from her pram by an old beggar woman. The family is distraught, but have no fear, Rover is here. The clever collie tracks the baby down to a dingy attic, then rushes home to alert the father, leading him back to save the day. It sounds simple, but in 1905, this was revolutionary. Before Rover, most films were static shots, like watching a play from a single seat. Hepworth, however, used multiple shots and sophisticated editing to build a coherent narrative. He showed Rover running from left to right in one shot, then entering the next shot from the left, a technique we now call continuity editing. It created a seamless sense of movement and geography that was groundbreaking. Rescued by Rover was an international blockbuster. The public went absolutely mad for it.
Hepworth's small studio had to sell over 400 prints of the film, and the original negative wore out twice, forcing him to reshoot the entire movie on 2 separate occasions just to meet demand. Blair the dog became a household name, the first of a long line of 4-legged screen legends. Lesson: the 1905 smash hit Rescued by Rover reveals a fundamental truth of mass media. Technological innovation is most powerful when it serves a clear, emotionally resonant story. By pioneering narrative editing to tell a simple tale of a loyal dog, Cecil Hepworth didn't just make a movie, he provided a blueprint for how to captivate an audience, proving that a good story, well told, is the most valuable asset in entertainment.
Greetings, history explorers! Today, I want you to take a deep breath. Go on, a really big one. Now, imagine that air is thick with the smell of raw sewage, industrial waste, and a sun-baked river of filth. Welcome to London in the summer of 1858, the year of the Great Stink. This wasn't just a bad smell, it was a city-stopping, parliament-closing crisis that forced a nation to finally clean up its act. So how did it get so pungent? For centuries, London's waste went into cesspits, but with the rise of the water closet, the flush toilet in the early 19th century, all that waste was now channeled into the city's ancient sewers, which in turn emptied directly into the River Thames. The Thames, the very heart of the city, had become a festering open sewer. The dominant medical theory of the time was the miasma theory, which held that diseases like cholera were spread by bad smells. And in the scorching hot, dry summer of 1858, that smell became apocalyptic. The water level of the Thames dropped, exposing banks of raw effluent to the summer sun. The stench was so powerful, it was said to halt the business of Parliament itself. Politicians, including Benjamin Disraeli, complained of the fetid stench, and legend has it they tried soaking the building's curtains in lime chloride to mask the smell, but it was no use. The crisis forced their hand. In just 18 days, Parliament passed a bill to create a new, modern sewer system for London. The man for the job was a brilliant engineer named Joseph Bazalgette. His plan was audacious: to build 82 miles of massive underground intercepting sewers running parallel to the river, which would carry the waste far to the east of the city to be discharged into the Thames on the outgoing tide. The project was a Herculean feat of Victorian engineering, requiring 318 million bricks, millions of cubic yards of earth to be excavated, and the invention of a stronger, quick-setting Portland cement to withstand the difficult ground conditions. By the time it was completed, Bazalgette's system had an immediate, profound effect. The great stink was gone. But the unseen benefit was even greater. While many still clung to the miasma theory, Bazalgette's work inadvertently cleaned the city's main source of drinking water. This dramatically reduced the outbreaks of cholera, a waterborne disease, effectively proving the controversial theories of Dr. John Snow, who had linked cholera to contaminated water years earlier. Sir Chuckleton. Lesson: the Great Stink of 1858 is a powerful, if smelly, lesson in the cost of procrastination. It demonstrates that ignoring fundamental infrastructure investment doesn't save money. It merely postpones an inevitable and often more expensive crisis. It reminds us that the most vital public works are often the ones we cannot see, silently protecting the health and prosperity of a society.